Alright guys, it's time to break the fast. This week you get to introduce some breakfast, which is exciting for you. Alright, what we want to try and avoid though when we introduce a breakfast is we don't want to get a nice energy high in the morning and then a crash around 9, 10, 11 o'clock. Okay, so what I want you guys to look at is balancing two hormones. The first one being insulin, which deals with glucose in the blood, so distributes glucose, takes it out of the blood and starts sending it around the body. And cortisol, which is our stress hormone. Okay, it gives us energy in the morning and it gives us that sustained energy throughout the day and then hits rock bottom at night so then we can fall asleep. Okay, so let's look at 3 options that you can have for breakfast that are going to allow you to have this sustained energy throughout the day. Okay, number 1, avoid energy crash. So insulin is the hormone that's responsible for dealing with glucose when it enters the bloodstream. Okay, so basically what we want to do, eat a low carbohydrate breakfast to avoid our body having to secrete insulin to deal with our carbohydrates. Okay, so what happens is if we eat a breakfast like toast or cereal or juice or something like that, we get this spike in energy, our body secretes insulin, sends that energy off to be stored as fat or energy or used straight away as energy, anything like that. And then we get this sugar crash where our blood sugar levels start to come down. Okay, and this is where our stress hormone cortisol kicks in and breaks down muscle tissue to then give us energy again. And then bring our blood sugar levels back up into our normal range. Okay, so we want to try and avoid this sugar high, sugar crash as much as possible throughout the day, okay? Cortisol, to get energy, breaks down muscle tissue, right? So that's not really favorable if we're coming in here training, breaking down our muscle tissue in the gym, and then doing it while we're meant to be recovering as well, okay? So this is not ideal. The other thing we want to look at is our body's natural cortisol release, our natural stress hormone release. So first thing in the morning, because we haven't eaten anything for 7 to 9 hours, our body releases a certain amount of cortisol to give us energy. Okay, so we want to take advantage of this natural bodily process and we want to try and sustain that cortisol release for as long as possible throughout the day until the afternoon where we start to wind down and we actually hit the head on the pillow. Okay, so what happens is cortisol's high in the morning, okay? If we dump a lot of carbohydrates into the bloodstream and spike insulin, cortisol actually drops through the floor, okay? So we then get that dip in energy. So what we want to try and do is eat a low carb breakfast to try and allow cortisol to have its natural energy released throughout the day. Okay, we don't want to try and muck up this cortisol insulin balance first thing in the morning or even mid-morning or midday either. Okay, so we want to try and let this bodily process, let these hormones just do their thing. All right. At night time, it's the complete opposite. We want to chuck some carbohydrates in there so we drop our stress hormone through the floor and we can actually slip into a deep sleep. Okay, so don't worry about all those myths about not eating carbs at night, etc. You want to do the complete reverse. No carbs in the morning and then carbohydrates at night. Alright guys, so these are your 3 options for breakfast. Okay, you've either got meat and nuts, so you can choose any cut of protein, whether it's beef, chicken, whatever, as long as it's a lean cut of protein, and add a couple of handfuls of nuts in there. Okay, I tend to alternate between beef mince and chicken mince just because it's easy to cook in bulk and really easy to just scoop out in the morning and heat first thing when I walk out the door. Okay, so meat and nuts. Option 2, fish and eggs. Okay, so you can have smoked salmon, smoked trout, whatever you like, and some eggs. Okay, when you're having eggs, I expect 3 to 4 whole eggs. All right, and then add a couple of handfuls of nuts in there as well. Your third option, Icelandic yogurt. Okay, it's a high protein yogurt, and you can add some form of natural nut butter or nuts in there. Okay, so you can add natural peanut butter or almond butter, as well as a small handful of berries, whether it's blueberries, strawberries, or something like that. Only berries, no other types of fruit. Okay, so they're your 3 options for breakfast. Enjoy breaking the fast this week, guys. Think about those 2 hormones, insulin and cortisol, and how you're going to sustain your energy release throughout the day. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, enjoy introducing some breakfast.